Hello everyone! Look who's out of the crypt and ready to roll! I know it's been a while since I made a video, and I'm very sorry about that. If you want to learn what's been going on, please go check out the update video that will be uploaded next week. It'll cover everything that should be happening and covering future plans for the channel, as well as a shout out to some terrific people. Thank you very much for your time, and without further ado, it's time for Lesbian Lions and Secret Lore, as we kick off Wolf Tales with a little special video series on YouTube called My Pride. Welcome to Wolf Tales, where literature runs wild! With Thanksgiving in Canada not that long ago, it's honestly been hard to find anything good to celebrate this year. With the pandemic, wildfires, and everything else going on, I'm almost tempted to become a bear and hibernate till spring. But one of the great things that came out this year is the wonderful web series My Pride! A show about lionesses just trying to survive in a homophobic, ableistic world filled with blood, death, and gore. Also apparently trying to make Feather the most adorable cub this side of the frozen north. Following the tales of Nothing the Lioness on her quest to find the shifting place and break a supposed cycle, My Pride has been an incredible journey which I hope stays for years to come. Now while the series has been excellent to binge watch over and over, to the point I ended up becoming a Patreon for it, it got me thinking that something wasn't right all the way back in the beginning. Something smelled fishy, and it wasn't just Quickmane's bad breath. So I theorized, used a little literature knowledge, and I think I found something. Something I dare say will shape the rest of My Pride as we know it. And that, my dear watchers, is the truth about the origin of prides and how Karabi did nothing wrong. Now for those of you who have never heard of this series before, the world of My Pride is run in the basic structure of lion prides in real life. There is one male lion who leads and has all of the females in the pride, while the females hunt and bear the male's cubs. The society had at one time been large groups of lions living in kingdoms separated by the three goddesses. Kansu, the Wanderer, goddess of storms and guides to those who are lost. Sans, the Trickster, goddess of light and the leader of great warriors. And Azra, the Guardian, goddess of the night and keeper of the dead. Now, the kingdoms were led by lions chosen by the goddesses for their virtues. Usually, it was lions who best represented each sister. Which, I mean, is a pretty sweet deal. You're chosen to lead based on attributes, lions got along, and everything was great. Was great. Eventually, some insane lioness called Karabi came, stole the betrothed wife of Sansa's chosen lion Light, who was a lioness chosen by Azra named Kyoga, and spirited her away. A war breaks out, Light goes to save the day, but it's too late. Light and Karabi fight, and Light wins. He then returns and breaks the system to make the patriarchy society it is today. Great story, right? Well, I thought so at first glance too. But after time, I had to admit, this tale seems a little sus to me. But to figure out why, we need to examine a little something called lore and the use it has in fantasy works like My Pride. See, lore is a little like the foundation of any fantasy world. Without lore, the story falls flat. When done properly, it can give us, the audience, a look into not only how the world works, but how the story will end. In Avatar: The Last Airbender, the lore told at the beginning showed Aang's conflict in needing to fix the past and learn how to fight peacefully. In the opening of How to Train Your Dragon, the lore told by Hiccup showcased the dragons and hinted at his intelligence needing to make a real change in Berk. On the other hand, lore can also be used to lead to mystery in the world by being inaccurate on purpose. As they say, history is only written by the victors, by being biased, like in Trolls 2 or Frozen 2. So what does My Pride's lore show? Well, first, after examining it, My Pride's lore is definitely biased by the demonic depiction of Karabi and the fact that society is very oppressive of lionesses now. As well, examining the tale, we see no indication of Karabi's origins or even explanation of her motives, only that she was a villain. On top of that, Light being the sole survivor means that anything said in the tale had to come from his mouth, whether fact or fiction. But okay, so the history of the land is possibly wrong. What's the big deal, you may ask? Well, I believe this, my dear viewers, is the supposed cycle nothing is supposed to break. The cycle of violence and the rebirth of the kingdoms by avenging the innocent leader of Kansu's kingdom and chosen lioness, Karabi. Now, for those of you in doubt, there are some hints in the series itself that proves this. If we examine the legend, it never explains why the kingdoms would break out into war because of this event. If Karabi could be a random lioness, then why would all three of the kingdoms be at war? If it was a fight with the kingdom of Azra and Sons, why would it bring Kansu's into the battle? More importantly, if it was a random lioness, what led Azra and Sons' kingdom to fight in the first place? Wouldn't they have understood it was a rogue and gone after her together? Wouldn't it unite them instead of divide them? All of these questions demand an answer that actually seems to answer itself if we look close enough. When Power Strike and Nothing are telling the tale in episode 1, they only say the names of 2 of the 3 kingdoms. The chosen lion of Sans and the chosen lion of Azra. Kansu's chosen lion, or lioness, is mysteriously left out of being named. If Karabi was the leader of the Kansu kingdom, it would make sense why each kingdom was at war. With each of their leaders being the main players in this issue, all the kingdoms could have felt betrayed or angry at the other 2 kingdoms. Now, while this covers off where Karabi could have come from, it doesn't explain why Karabi would have kidnapped Kyoga. That is until episode 7. In episode 7, we hear Proudmane mention how the ancient laws forbid lionesses from having relationships with each other. Now, why would this law be created in the first place? There is no explanation given other than, "It is the ancient ways." The law itself doesn't even seem to be followed by any of the other prides, as Power Strike explains. So why would there be a law that makes lionesses have to obey their mains and not have relations with each other? Well, what if Light made the law not only to force lionesses to obey their mains, but what if it had a deeper meaning? What if Kyoga didn't get kidnapped by Karabi, the jealous lioness, but instead ran away with Karabi, her true love? The legend never tells us Karabi has any power to prevent Kyoga from running. It doesn't even sound like Karabi had an army or supernatural powers to sway Kyoga to stay. So what's stopping Kyoga from just leaving whenever she wants? The answer is nothing. There is nothing preventing Kyoga from walking away or fighting back against her captor. This means she wasn't being forced to stay there, she chose to stay there. Kyoga and Karabi were just 2 innocent lionesses in love, and Light was a jealous and bitter male lion who probably couldn't take no for an answer. Heck, though not from the same reason, this story bears strong similarities to the Trojan War. A tale, mind you, about royals from one nation stealing the betrothed wife of another and resulting in a devastating war. With that in mind, the tale becomes less a love story and more a tragedy for the ages of 2 lovers ripped apart by homophobia. With that sorted out, the question we can finally look at is Nothing herself. If the cycle is supposed to be the cycle of violence, or maybe even the cycle of repeatedly trying to fix history, why was Nothing chosen to break it? Why would the goddesses choose Nothing and not a lion like Fire or Hover? Besides the fact they have no injuries, they also seem better in both confidence and strength compared to Nothing. Why not someone like Sharpton, who knows the tales pretty well and could spread the truth of the legend? Heck, why would Kansu choose Nothing in the first place when we know the goddesses can come down and take mortal forms like we saw in Azra's legend? Well, the answer to that has already been given to us in the very first episode.
Azra may take me, but you will never win.
What's that supposed to... Let go of me, demon!
Nothing had the courage to step in and stop Quickmane from killing her and her brother. An action seen as impossible by most lions. This effect of courage and standing up for what she believes in stretches to more than just her and Fire. No matter where Nothing goes, she seems to change the minds and lives of everyone she meets for the better. Not only that, Nothing is willing to hear all sides of issues, and most times is very empathetic to all she meets. Her general demeanor and drive makes her nothing but the perfect lioness to get this done. We even know the goddesses are helping her by ways of characters like Ghost, her dreams, and by someone else. That someone being Rain, who is secretly the goddess of storms herself, Kentsu. Now, besides her name being an obvious connection to the storm goddess, there are more hints the creators are giving us throughout the show. The fact she literally appears and reappears at will, the fact she seems to know more than she's letting on, and the fact she first appears in a storm cloud all seems to point to this. But we can take this one step further. In episode 5, it's a rainstorm in the middle of dry season that stops Quickmane from killing Nothing. In the next episode, Rain, this time a lion, appears to save Nothing and Feather from death again. With this information, we know this is Kentsu, and we know she has chosen Nothing and possibly Hover to complete this task. Both have been tested by her, and if other legends have taught us anything, a test from a god usually means they're seeing if one is worthy. With Nothing, Rain tested to see if Nothing is willing to do something right and stand by it with Feather, while Hover is tested to see if she is kind enough to give a thirsty lioness water in the dry season. Standing up for what is right and kindness, eh? I wonder why the goddess of storms would want to see that in a couple of heroines. Maybe to see if she'd be willing to learn the truth about Kurabi? Maybe to see if Hover and Nothing can be strong enough to push against the backlash and use the power of their love to make lesbian lions legal? Maybe strong enough to bring an end to the innocent slaughter of children and other lions? The answer, I think, to all of this is yes, but only time will tell for sure. So there you have it, my theory of the truth of My Pride's lore and what the future holds. Again, this is all a theory, and I could be wrong. Who knows, maybe Nothing is a reincarnation of Kyoga, or maybe she's something else. Either way, I can't wait to see what comes out at the end of this month, and I hope you all join me by checking out the channel and watching the series for yourself. Finally, remember to share your thoughts in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you want to see more. It could really help out this channel and lets me know what you like. For now, I gotta go cuddle up with my partners and prepare for something a little more dark this Halloween. Until next time, I'm Silver Starling, and thank you for joining me on Wolf Tales. See you next time you want to run with the pack!